Now, one bike component that most of us probably take for granted and would never even think about maintaining is our Freehub. But yet, when these go wrong out on the roadside, it's generally pretty terminal, leaving your pedals spinning freely, but in both directions. Now, I'm not going to suggest in this video that you should maintain your Freehub often, but particularly if you ride in poor conditions, it's definitely a job that is worth doing. Now, the method of servicing your Freehub will vary depending on exactly what hub you have, but all the different types are broadly similar, so that even if I don't demonstrate on your exact make and model of wheel, hopefully this video will empower you enough to go out and try it for yourself. It's not that hard a job, if I'm honest. So how does it all work then? Well, your Freehub is a metal tube like this with ridges on it that actually allow your cassette to fit on. And then the mechanism that allows you to freewheel is two-sided. On one component you will have a row of little teeth, and then on the other component you'll have little levers like this, which are called pawls, and they're spring-loaded, and when you freewheel they simply rub against the teeth that are on the other component. But then when you pedal, those springs ping the pawls into the teeth and it locks, allowing you to actually pedal. Now, depending on which type of hub you have, those two components will be in different places. So on this one, from the Zip, we have the pawls in the Freehub body and we have the spline teeth in the hub itself. But other manufacturers will do it the other way around. The likely cause of a freewheel stopping working is that these pawls here become so full of gunk that they actually become unable to spring back into position. So to renovate it then, it's very simply a case of thoroughly degreasing so that these pawls start moving again, then very lightly lubricating, not greasing, when you put it back together again. That is if everything still functions correctly and it's not broken. So how then do we actually take off the Freehub in order for you to get access to that? Well, like I said earlier, it does depend. Some, like this Zip one that we've just been looking at, simply pull off. Now, it's held in place normally with pressure from the wheel being held in the dropouts. But then when you take the wheel out, you can remove the Freehub really quickly. And as you'll see, the pawls are on the Freehub body and the actual spline bits are in the hub. On this Vision wheel here and on many others, there's a lock nut that holds it on. And so to take it off, you simply use, in this case, a 17mm cone spanner, and then you turn the axle with a 5mm Allen key. So the Allen key literally just fits straight into the axle, and then that turns so we get the lock nut off. And then, ta-da! Freehub comes off, pawls in the Freehub, splines in the hub. Finally, these Reynolds wheels here perfectly illustrate another method, which is using an Allen key in the non-drive side end of the axle. You then use another Allen key in the drive side, and those unscrew, there we go, and that removes the lock nut that holds the Freehub on. Ooh, check it out, splines on the Freehub body this time, pawls in the hub. So those are three of the most common ways of taking your Freehub off. Shimano obviously are very common as well, but actually are slightly more complicated and probably deserve a video all of their own. But all those three that we've just seen are clearly in really, really good condition. So here we have a Freehub that stopped working. This is one of my old training wheels going back several years now. And the Freehub has completely seized. So we will try and take it off and see what we can see. That's slightly disappointingly not as bad as I was expecting, but still, you can see that the pawls have lost an awful lot of their spring. They're really sticky, and that is the main reason why it wouldn't work. So what we're going to do is take a solvent degreaser, like this one from Muck Off, and then clean them out until hopefully they start springing again. And then that should sort our freewheel out. Now, the bad news for this particular wheel is that the springs on one of the pawls had actually broken. So I've had to replace that one, but the other one is now back working 100%. So that's super cool. As I mentioned a little bit earlier on, you don't want to grease Freehubs. Different hub manufacturers will recommend different products, but I would definitely err on the lighter side of lubricant. So this is just a dry chain lube, and I'm just gonna put a dab or two. Well, hopefully then you've seen that servicing your Freehub isn't actually that daunting a task, and really it is something that any home mechanic should be able to tackle. And even though I probably haven't shown you exactly how to do your exact make and model of wheel, the 3 GCN wheel partner brands here do pretty much cover the whole spectrum of how a freewheel may be taken on and off. In terms of how often you should do it, I said it doesn't need to be done often, but maybe a couple of times a year. If you ride in poor conditions, certainly at the end of the winter, you'll want to service your Freehub, and maybe even part way through, just to make sure that you don't get stuck on the side of the road with a broken freewheel. Now, we've got maintenance videos coming out every week here on GCN, so if it's your cup of tea, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you don't already. To do it, it's completely free, and you can do it just by clicking on the globe. The other thing that you need to do to your wheels regularly in the winter, by the way, is servicing the hub bearings. There's 2 main types. Firstly, you've got cartridge bearings like we've got behind me here. To service those, we've got a video explaining exactly how. It's just up there. Shimano use cup and cone bearings, and they are slightly different again. So we've got a nice vintage video with Mr. Daniel Lloyd, and that is just down there.